Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, in this video, we're going to be wrapping up 2020 with a top 10 list of my top 10 favorite pieces of gear for this year. Let's get into it. So what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. My name is Ray. I'm a guitar player here on YouTube, and we are 3 days away at the time of this filming from ending 2020 and looking into the future that is 2021. God, I hope it doesn't suck. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's a little better than this year. You know, there's certainly some high points of 2020. It wasn't all bad, but I think everybody would the majority would say that 2020 was pretty crappy for everybody, both, you know, financially, personally, completely, whatever you want to talk about. So I just hope 2021 is a little bit better, all right? But let's talk about the good things that happened in 2020 here in our hobby and our passion, that is guitar gear. And so what I did is I did something extremely revolutionary and original, and I compiled a list of my top 10 favorite pieces of gear of 2020, and we'll rank them from 10 to 1, okay? Now, I will say real quick before we get into this list, I'm an independent guy and just a one-man show running this whole entire channel. So not everything that's on my list is brand new for 2020. I just don't have the budget or the wallet, you know what I mean, to have just all brand new spanking gear for everything for this channel for 2020. So what I'm trying to say is I'm going to talk about the top 10 pieces of gear that I was able to get my hands on or, you know, play with in 2020. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be a fair assessment and a fair way for me to, you know, give an honest list. So now I've got 3 honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is my custom 7-string Kiesel Hyperdrive multi-scale in the Silver Burst. Now, the reason why it's an honorable mention is because this thing is very brand new for me. I don't want to, like, you know, what do I want to say? I don't want to, like, let the honeymoon phase dictate where this ends up on the list. And I've barely even had it, you know, in my possession for a long time compared to some of the other stuff that's on this list. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is put this on 2021's list whenever that year ends. 2021 will probably end on December 31st. I don't know why I said when it, you know, I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this guitar is so special and so awesome. It's just, I haven't spent enough time with it. And I want to keep it kind of like, you know, preserved, I guess, for 2021. It came at a really awkward time for 2020. It came right at the end. So I just haven't had enough time to bond with it, to ding it up, to play it, to do a whole bunch of videos on it, but it certainly belongs on the list. My second honorable mention is the Jim Root Signature EMG Demonums. Now, these pickups are very solid. Are they my favorite? Not really, not per se, but they do have a very unique characteristic to them, and I've done, you know, dozens of videos on these pickups and just Jim Root gear in general, so you guys probably already know my thoughts. But yeah, man, like, they're solid pickups, but they're on this list because what do I want to say? There was a lot of positive things that came from these pickups. You know, from talking with Jim himself about these pickups in 2019 and this year in 2020, and they also did very well for the videos did very well for my channel, and they helped my channel out a lot. Anything Jim Root related content just, you know, skyrockets, and that's awesome. You guys love that stuff. So these pickups themselves really helped out the channel, and it really gave this guitar not only a new kind of cool looking aesthetic, but it also just gave this guitar a brand new sonic vibe. And this guitar has a ton of vibes. If you know anything about this guitar got a lot of cool little modifications and weathering in 2020. So I love this thing. And lastly, my last honorable mention is the signature Fluff plugin, the Amped Roots from ML Sound Lab. When Fluff told me he was getting his own signature plugin, I was so proud and happy for him, and I look up to that gentleman, you know, seriously, as a role model, and just somebody that I really inspired to do something similar to him one day in the future. That is, have a successful, awesome band, as well as do, you know, content for social media, whether or not YouTube's around in the future, I don't know. But anyway, the plugin itself is great, man. Ton of high gain tones. It's awesome. It's got, you know, 4 different amplifiers. You guys have seen my videos on this plugin. It's great, man. I love it so much, and you know, I'm really happy for ML Sound Lab and happy for Fluff, and that plugin's awesome. But now let's get into the actual list, shall we? Number 10, the Keith Merrow KM6 Mark III. Now, the guitar that I'm talking about is the very high-end, top-tier model. That is the import model, not a USA model or anything like that, but the guitar that I had on here about, I don't know, maybe summer, July-ish time. that guitar was just absolutely killer, man. It has the Fishman pickups in it, and just a ton of cool features, and specced out to the T. And I think that guitar is just super tight and percussive and articulate. It was really a pleasure and a dream to play. So I have to thank the gentleman that set it in for the channel. It was not my guitar. I didn't buy it. It was sent in to me to do a demo and a couple, videos for content. So I sincerely appreciate that gentleman for sending it in. And yeah, man, that guitar is just a monster. Coming in at number 9 is the EVH Chorus. Now, this pedal I think came out in 2018, and it's just kind of honestly a run-of-the-mill chorus pedal. But the reason why I like it so much, and the reason why it's on my list, is because it is on every single guitar tone that I create. When I'm doing a demo of a guitar or an amp or whatever, I love having that chorus. And my band Luna Muerta is just like, we're relatively brand new as a band, but I recently discovered this pedal at the time that my band was tracking some songs, and like when I was tuned down to drop F with an EVH chorus and like some single coil sounds, it's just like the most unique sound that I've found in a very long time. And so that pedal means a lot to me because it's kind of become like, I don't know, my signature tone, if you will. And I just really like how it just makes my overall rig sound. So it's certainly not a new pedal and not a new piece of gear, but certainly something that is new for me, and I'm glad that I found it. Number 8 is the Fortin Cali. A lot of Fortin stuff will be coming on this list, I promise you. Spoiler alert. But the Fortin Cali, man, just Neural DSP and Fortin, when those two entities come together for creating software, it's just like a 10 out of 10 every single time. And the Fortin Cali is just awesome, man. There's a lot of grit and a lot of almost fuzzy characteristics to the amplifier, and it's not as very dry like, say, the Nameless or something like that. And that's something that I like. I like a more kind of squishier, hairier, fuzzier, woolier type of gain stage distortion, whatever you want to call it. And the Cali certainly sounds like a kind of like a dual rectifier, like on steroids or something like that. It's just like got a really kind of just rich, thick type of gain saturation. And yeah, man, the Cali's sick. Coming in at number 7 is another plugin from Neural DSP, and I could say the exact same thing about this plugin as I did the Cali. This is the Powered by Omega Granifier. What a sick plugin, man. I love the Granifier so much. The Iridium / Granifier is my favorite high gain amplifier, real amplifier that I've ever played in my entire life. I actually played it about a year ago now. But yeah, man, when they announced that the Granifier was going to come out and Omega Ampworks, or Powered by Omega, had a plug-in format of the Granifier, I was over the moon. I couldn't wait to try it out. And it is just one of my favorite plugins that I've ever tried in my entire life. Just a ton of saturation. It's heavy. It's got a Mick Thompson preset and a V-Man preset. That's always cool, right? But yeah, man, it's just an awesome, solid, quality plugin, and I'm very happy for the Omega Ampworks team as well as Neural DSP for releasing this plugin. Coming in at number 6 is the Fortin Sigil. All right. Spoiler alert. 1 second. Next on the list is a Fortin Sigil, man. What a beast of an amplifier. I didn't get a video out in 2020 for it. This amplifier came to me, I want to say like Christmas Eve, give or take, maybe Christmas, the day after Christmas. I just ran out of time. I didn't get a video out for it, but just spoiler alert, man, spoiler alert. This thing's a monster. I can't wait for my own personal video to be out. And, the thing about this amplifier that's great is although it's a quote unquote mini amplifier, it doesn't feel and it doesn't sound like a mini amplifier. So that's all I'm going to say. Just be on the lookout for this thing in the very near future. Top 5, ladies and gentlemen. Number 5 is the Maxon OD9 that has been modified by Mike Fortin and Fortin Amplification. I love this overdrive because I kind of think I'm more of a boost pedal type of guy, but with this overdrive pedal, it had so much like just warmth to it. I said it in my demo. It just has a ton of warmth to it, and it's just like a bunch of usable tones. It's not harsh, it's not fizzy, it's not a can of bees. It's very usable, very warm, but aggressive all at the same time. And it's made by Mike Fortin and Fortin Amplification. So I don't know, maybe I'm a little fanboyish, but I don't know, man. I think Fortin stuff is my favorite, and it just works for me, and it's everything that I've wanted in like a company that makes high gain stuff, you know what I mean? So I was over the moon with this overdrive, and yeah, man, made it the top 5 for 2020. Number 4 is my Kiesel Delos 7-string. Now, the reason why I love this guitar, man, is It reminds me of a Strat. Let's call it for what it is. It reminds me of a Strat. I love old school guitars. You guys know me. I love old school Les Pauls, Strats. You know, I'm not like too much of a futuristic type of player. I'm kind of like a dad rocker at heart, man, and classic rock at heart. And so when I built this guitar, you know, with my own money, Kiesel didn't build it or anything like that. But I bought it, designed it, paid for it myself, and it's everything I could want in a 7-string, man. It's like got an old school flavor, but with some new school features. That is Keith lithium, stainless steel frets, you know, a flatter radius than a Strat, and it just looks elegant and classy, but it just sounds mean. And this is probably my second most popular guitar of 2020 for all my videos, but there's one that I think I used a little bit more that'll be coming up here in a bit. Number 3 is all of my Squier Baritone Jazzmasters. Now this one is the first one I got, and it is, you know, my quote-unquote number 1. A lot of Luna Muerta stuff has been written on this guitar in Drop F, so be on the lookout for that in early 2021, man. This guitar and all the guitars are just so unique and something so spectacular. And these guitars actually influenced me building my 7-string hyperdrive from Kiesel. And the fact that I wanted something in Drop F, I wanted to have, you know, something with a lot of clank to it. And, you know, at a first glance, this is not a metal guitar, but these do metal so well, and they handle the low tuning so well, and are so clear and so punchy, and just, I love it, man. But on top of it, it looks amazing. I switched out the pickguard, obviously, but the binding and the block inlays, it just looks like a 70s guitar with a metal flavor. I love it, man. And, you know, my band is writing a ton of stuff, and it can be attributed to me discovering this baritone sound. All right, top 2. I wonder if everybody's going to be able to guess my number 1. Probably. But my number 2 is my limited edition Mesa Boogie dual rectifier with the gold plate. Ever since I found that amplifier, and I think maybe like early November, late October, give or take, I've not looked back. I think it's like the best dual rectifier that I've personally played through. I played through a couple, not too many, but I just think it's just awesome. It's everything I could want with a high gain amplifier. It's got a ton of like just creaminess and squishiness, but all at the same time tight and pretty just awesome, for lack of a better word. And not only does it look cool, but it also takes overdrives and boosts really, really good, which is the main reason why I like dual rectifiers, man. I love putting an overdrive and or a boost in front of an amplifier, whether or not they quote unquote need it. I just like to do it anyway, and I think the dual rectifier takes overdrives and boosts, you know, the best out of anything that I've found so far, you know, during this journey that I'm on. But yeah, man, this amplifier right here has been on a ton of stuff ever since I got it, and yeah, man, I just love it. Plain and simple, I love it. But ladies and gentlemen, my number 1 piece of gear of 2020 came at the very beginning of 2020 as my custom 7-string Dean V in the silver burst finish. This guitar, I think, is probably the most well-known guitar that I own. That is, you know, personal to me. You know what I mean? Like, when you think of me, a lot of people probably think of this guitar. And I love it so much because not only did it just, you know, further just help my relationship with the Dean team. You know, they're just great people, and I love those guys and girls so much, man. They're awesome to me. And they just knocked it out of the park with this guitar, man. And, you know, I built it with them. They helped design it with me and or for me, whatever you want to call it. And I've just used it on a ton of stuff, man. It's so played, and it's only a year old. You know, our first single Fragments was written with this guitar. I did a ton of videos on it. It's just you know, a very special guitar to me, and I love it, man. It's not the easiest to play because it is a V, and you know, you have to kind of sit kind of awkwardly, I guess. It's not, you know, it took a while to get used to it, but yeah, man, it just looks cool. It's just wild. It's just got a ton of mojo already. It's got some old dried up paint that I've slowly but surely gotta, you know, clean up. But anyway, man, I just love it so much. It's just such a workhorse, and it means a lot to me to have this guitar, and I can't wait to continue to just, you know, play it and you know, get it all dinged up and gross. It's just a lot of fun to play. So everybody, that's my top 10 list of 2020 with all my favorite pieces of gear that I was able to either physically play, digitally play, and or borrow from somebody else, man. So leave all your thoughts down below about this video, about all the gear that came out in 2020, and I'll meet you down there and we'll get a nice friendly discussion, all right? Cheers. Here's the 2021. I hope it's a better year. I'm sure it will be. Can't get much worse, right? Knock on wood. But just thank you to everybody who's been sticking around and just helping me out and helping our channel out and just keeping this channel going, man. It's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what 2021 has to offer. So that's going to do it for this video. If you're brand new to my channel, it's kind of a weird video to find me on, but if you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. I'm out of here. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay metal, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.